call this meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Please be seated.
I heard you talking back there.
Sorry, I didn't see her. She had camo on. I didn't see her. She's camouflaged.
Before we get started, I would like to just pause for a moment with all the tragedy in Texas. So many young school-age kids have passed, and so we could just take a couple seconds. Okay. So I'd like to welcome all of you from the public to the meeting. This is our preliminary determination meeting, and so hopefully we've got cats here, so this is being live streamed, and we are holding this preliminary hearing on a proposed project. If any do come and want to speak, they'll need to sign in. I do want to make note that the notice of this preliminary determination hearing was published as legally required. And at this time, I will ask that Colin Cochran from Bose, McKinney & Evans explain the purpose of this hearing.
Good evening, members of the board. Colin Cochran with Bose, McKinney & Evans. I am filling in for my colleague, Jacob McClellan. But if there's anything I'm not able to answer tonight, Jacob will be back here at the next Tuesday's meeting. Jacob probably did not mention that he was sending someone that graduated from the rival Owen Valley a couple decades ago, so please don't
I know your mom and dad.
You probably do know my mom and dad.
Yeah, I thought, man, that's that little knucklehead next door.
Recently retired Dr. Cochran, that's right.
Yeah, right on.
Well, pursuant to Indiana Code 6-1.1-20-3.5, a school corporation must hold 2 public hearings and adopt a resolution preliminary determining to issue bonds or enter into a lease for a project that has a total project cost in excess of the non-controlled project threshold of $1 million. These public hearings and the adoption of the resolution that will be considered at the next meeting are the very beginning of this entire legal process for this project. The resolutions themselves establish the maximum financial terms for the proposed project. For the record, all of the statutorily required information is located on that table at the entrance of the meeting, as required by statute. If proceeding forward, this project will be financed by an issuance of bonds pursuant to the school's building corporation's existing indenture and lease. There will be a supplement to the indenture and an amendment to the lease. Those will be drafted and circulated and approved as part of the overall authorization process. Our current timeline has us working through all of the legal processes through mid-October, anticipating selling the bonds in early November and then closing on the bonds in late November. As mentioned, this is the very first step in the overall legal process. There is no action required by the board tonight, only just to hold this public hearing. And if there are any questions or comments, please hesitate to ask.
Thank you very much. And we will now hear from Dr. Sanders about the process of determining the scope of the project and the need for this project.
Yes, certainly. So the scope of the project developed out of a comprehensive effort to determine the most prioritized needs across the Edgewood Schools campus. We used the following sources. In 2022, we had a facility assessment done by Lancer architect firm. In 2024, just last fall, we also had a demographic study done by McKimmon's Demographic and Research. And then most recently, we've had a number of work sessions where we've, as you know, we invited teachers, administrators, we had our athletic director here, teachers and coaches from the performing arts, maintenance. We met with Skillman construction managers and Lancer Architecture to determine what our needs would be. The project will serve to provide a better educational opportunity for Edgewood students across the campus by providing elements of effective and positive educational environment, which includes students and staff must feel safe. Students and staff must feel positive about their learning environment. Students and staff students must be actively engaged in the educational process. As a result, the project consists of the construction and equipping of renovations, improvements, and additions to Edgewood High School, including but not limited to roof replacement, repair and renovations, and solar installation. B, band choir expansion, upgrades, improvements, and renovations. C, constructing and equipping additional classrooms. D, constructing and equipping biomedical training classrooms. E, installation of turf to the baseball field. F, installation of turf and other improvements and upgrades to the softball field. G, technology, office, storage, and workspace upgrades, replacements, and equipping. H, parking and asphalt repair, upgrades and replacements. I, tennis court repairs and renovations. And J, other related renovations, improvements, and upgrades to permit such buildings to be utilized for school purposes. Also, the construction of equipping of renovations, improvements, and additions to Edgewood Junior High School, including but not limited to roof replacement, repair, and renovations and solar installation. B, band choir expansion, upgrades, improvements, and renovations. C, constructing and equipping additional classrooms. D, replacement of bleachers. E, parking and asphalt repair, upgrades and replacements. F, tennis court repairs and renovations. And G, other related renovations, improvements, upgrades to permit such buildings to be utilized for school purposes. Also, the construction and equipping of renovations, improvements, and additions to Edgewood Primary School and Edgewood Intermediate School, including but not limited to A, roof replacement, repair and renovations, and solar installation. B, playground expansion, improvements, and renovations. C, asphalt patching, resurfacing, and additional parking. D, other related renovations, improvements, and upgrades to permit such buildings to be utilized for school purposes. And 4, other related renovations, upgrades, improvements, repairs, replacements, and equipping by the school corporation at its facilities. And as you know, we often there are more needs than there is money. So we obviously would not be able to do all these projects, but these are just kind of represent the most important needs across our campus.
Thank you. Now we will hear from Stiefel, and they are our underwriter, and they're going to explain how the proposed project will be financed, as well as information about the effect on the typical property taxpayer. Mr. Chad Blacklock is with us.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having us here. So yeah, you guys, I think, have in front of you a hard copy. I'll just kind of walk through the different slides. Feel free to ask me questions. So on the first slide, this represents all of your current outstanding debt and the annual payments for each one of the individual 6 bond issues that you guys currently have outstanding. On the second page in orange, we have layered in the proposed $40 million project as a potential 2025 approval. And so you can see after layering those in what the proposed annual payments would potentially look like. More than likely with a project this big, we're probably going to do it in multiple issues, and that does help some of this picture as we move forward. And the plan is, as of right now, to keep your tax rate or your tax levy flat throughout the project. So then that would not be an increase to the taxpayer from this particular project, okay? And if we go to the last slide, I'm just going to read through some of what we call the legal parameters. I'll just kind of look at some of these. So the max par amount of the bonds being the $40 million, it will go out with a maturity of 20 years. Maximum interest rate right now and what we're running is around 7%. I can tell you today, municipal bonds issued today are probably in the 4.5% to 4.3% range, but we do use a conservative 7% in running your numbers. So estimated interest expense at the 7% would be the $47,052,000. The max annual payment that we have in the parameters would be $7 million. So that would bring the maximum total payments to just over $87 million. The 2024 pay 25 debt service levy is $9.8 million, and the 24 pay 25 debt service tax rate is 65 cents. That's just your current levy in 25 for debt and your current tax rate in the debt service fund. So as you can see, our plan is to keep the pay 26 levy around the same 9.8 million. Tax rate itself could go up a little bit if assessed value drops, but the levy is what reflects what the taxpayer is actually paying on, not the rate. Okay, so the plan is to keep that flat. Max annual payments as a percent of NAV are 6.43%, and your direct and overlapping debt as a percent of NAV is 8.02%. So any questions with any of that? Net assessed value.
Thank you.
Yep. Net assessed
I
value.
always forget that one. And the debt service rate, we can't go over 70 cents as the new starting when?
That starts in 2026.
Okay,
Yep,
and then
next year.
when Matt was here, Shoemaker, he was going to run one of these at 30 million also, just for us to look at. So
At 30?
At 30.
Okay, yeah, we
Agreed?
can get that to Jerry.
Agreed. We're going to look at one just for comparison.
Just to see what it looked like.
Okay, I'd like to see that too.
Okay.
Okay, but this is,
And
I know
again,
this is
I'll-
just a starting point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll remind Matt of that, and we'll get that to Jerry.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can see there, you're probably looking at, you were approaching the 70 at the 0.68 cents, yeah.
At 40 million.
Yeah, 40.
Correct. And at
Now
7%. And at 7%. I mean, so
Yes,
we're.
at the
so we're gonna
7%,
dial-
yeah,
I
that'll all
gotcha.
bring it down. Also, doing it in multiple issuances, if we do it in 2 or 3, that also makes that tax rate come down. some
Correct,
as well.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely the goal would be to keep you guys under the 70 cents.
No referendum.
No referendum.
Right. Got it. All right, we're good.
All right, now is the time that we would open this hearing up for public comments. Doesn't look like we have anybody that's commenting. So therefore, I will close the public hearing, and we appreciate everyone for your time and coming this evening. Thank you to Katz for keeping us going. Were you able to pick us up okay with all the drums? Awesome. Awesome. I just wanted to, I thought I'd better check on that. Okay. So this meeting is adjourned, so thank you all very much.